Hi guys, so today I want to share with you a little bundle I picked up on Amazon to help me out with the Sentro knitting machine, or any knitting machine that doesn't have a counter basically. They have different kinds of bundles. This is the one I chose, so I'll link it in the description box. Those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links. This is the 40 pin Sentro. The reason it looks black right here by this first pin, and I'm sorry about this, is as high as my camera will go, and really I just want to show you where I'm going to put the counter. So it's not the biggest deal, but it's because I painted that just so I know that I'm coming up on the black pin and not be a surprise. So I didn't really paint it. All I did was get a Sharpie. Let's just pretend this is the Sharpie, and I just colored that area just on top. So as it comes around, that delineates this black pin coming up. Not so much as the first pin or anything like that. What is interesting about this machine now that I've had it for a while is number 1 is the black pin, and then it goes 2, 3, 4, 5 that way, and then 40 being this one. But as you're cranking it, let me crank it over here. This should be number 1 in my opinion, because you're going 1, 2 this way. But I don't know. That's 40, and that's 1, because it's kind of interesting that you would think as you go that the last number would be first, but then you keep going around, and now it's going to lower, 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 until you get to number 2, and then number 1. Weird. But anyway, let's put this to the side for just a moment. Let me see if I can do that without knocking that over. So this is a kit I picked up, and actually I picked this up a while ago. I just haven't had a chance to come and share it with you guys, so I just haven't used it because we're sticking to it. If I end up making a video on this one, I was going to make a leg warmer. I don't know that I want to do that in this video because it's going to make a very long video for something I just want to quickly put together for you guys. But what's cool about this is it does come with spare legs, which is very interesting. It has another little screwdriver. I don't know if you remember the initial Sentro did come with a screwdriver. And it comes with more of these little suction cups, which is interesting. I saw a video from a couple years ago, and there was a woman that owns like a yarn shop, and she's like, oh, I lost one of my pegs, so it's like off balance, but she'd put something there to help it. And I'm like, how do they come off? Because they're pretty much on there. I mean, once you pop these things in there, I really don't see how they pop off easily. They don't. But it came with some screws, and so this kit is very interesting because this is like a whole kit again, like whenever you had first put it together. So it has the yarn like minder here, your tension gauge, I guess. It comes with the needle again, which is really great to have a refill of that. It comes with your crochet hook. It does say that it is a 3.75 millimeter hook, so I mean you can use this for your projects on here or just for projects that you just have, so that's great. And then it comes with, again, the suction cups and the spare legs. So a whole new set of legs, which is interesting. I totally forgot about that. It does have some extra, one other gauge tensioner, so you have a couple. I guess if you were to buy different bundles, I bet you this is one of the bundles, and this is just another one for this one. I just threw it in kind of on the side. It comes with new pins. Now, I did say for the Sentro, if you look at these pins, these are not Sentro pin colors. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm not sure on these yet. Knock on wood, haven't broken one, so hopefully I'll never have to use these, but there you go. You know what's funny about this color? I think some people don't like it, but I was like, it's very much the color of like when you go to the hospital and they have like drink cups or whatever, if you're admitted, or when you have a baby or something. They're like this color. Sometimes they're gray, but anyway. I would put those away. And this thing I probably will never use. It came in the bundle because I thought, well, maybe. But honestly, I'd rather just be able to watch my stitches really well. But you can clip this on. And I don't even know that it has to be screwed on. Yeah, you don't have to. Just pop this on here. And if it's nice and snug, so I can see, look, if I turn this, you can see already that it's going to turn it. This goes into your screwdriver, whatever your screwdriver, whatever kind you have, right? You pop that in there. I'm pretty sure it's that side, yeah, because this side goes over here. And you can put it in your drill or whatever, and it goes. And that's why a lot of people are doing the drill where it takes batteries, because it's less ridiculously crazy fast than, like, you know, my drill that I use here at the house for, you know, projects, home improvement projects or whatever. So as you can see, it'll turn it, and even just going like that, that seems faster than what I was doing. That's crazy. Okay, so, you know, maybe once I get much more confident in this thing, maybe you want to switch out to that, especially if you have a lot of rounds to do, right? So it comes with that. That looks like it works really great. It's not nice and snug. Too bad I dropped it. And it still looks fine. It is hard plastic, so I'm sure at some point you could probably crack it, but there we go. This is what I was looking for. And I was very curious of this, so as you can see there are not screws here. We're gonna have to put it on here somehow, and I'm assuming that's what those other screws are for. I don't think this came with any instructions. It did not. So let's take a look at this. Basically this, as it turns, is going to turn this, right? And I don't know which way it turns, and that might be messing it up right now. Let's reset it. 0, 0, 0. Sounds great. This thing is going to have to touch the turning. Something about this turning, you know what I'm saying? The clockwise or counterclockwise nature of this. So as it goes, now I don't know if that's the wrong way. It probably goes maybe this way. Yep, there goes 1, there goes 2. That seems very fast, right? I don't know, guys. We'll have to see. It must be whenever there's something about the rotation that gets that going. So I'm going to have to go look at the Amazon listing and see what they say, because it has no info, and as I look at it, it seems okay. But again, we're gonna have to screw this down somewhere. This is gonna definitely go somewhere. So I will be right back. I'm gonna go look at the listing. Okay guys, so I went back to look and I'm like, it looks weird, right? It looks like this needs to be inside, like part of the gears. So this is actually a replacement counter, which I didn't realize, and I don't know what I was thinking. And I was thinking maybe the listing was wrong, but no, because this is the listing here and I see it there. And it's basically, I did order 3 of these knitting machines. So this is a 40 pin, which actually makes a very small item. Even for a kid's hat, it makes it pretty small. So I'm going to do a tutorial soon on making a few different things on this little guy, but little in that it's the larger machine, but it makes a small project. But the 48 pin, which is supposed to be Sentro, but this one says Saley, and sorry about my cracked screen, it goes right there. See how it has a counter right here? That's where this guy goes in. So you're gonna unscrew it and put the new one in if your counter goes bad. That's all it is. And then I have this one that was super generic and super inexpensive, and it was also 48 pins, and I have it here to review for you guys. Look, I ordered it in May and still forgetting about it. 48 pin also has the counter, so also the same kind of counter that you would replace. So okay, we'll leave it at that. What I'm going to do is, I hate for this video to be a waste for you guys, but you know, I just kind of want to show you what was in here, so let's just leave it at that. Those are the items that came in this little kit. I think it's roughly like $21. If you need a replacement of this guy, basically you're going to unscrew it, right? This guy, not this, but where the counter is. If you turn it over, you can kind of see. Unscrew it, take out that thing, put the new one in, and screw it back shut, and you have a new counter. So it shouldn't be too problematic, because basically in the machine like this, you'll be able to figure that out once you open it up. But yeah, so just a few other extra items. I do like that it replaces all these things. I know some of the reviews are like, hey, you only need one thing and you have to buy the whole bundle, you know, but this, I've seen people use it, they like it. So again, for me, I feel like I'm still kind of a novice at this, so I don't want to do anything that's going to be too problematic. Like if I stopped dropping stitches but I didn't notice because it's going so fast, you know? Things like that. And then I really do like having the replacement tensioners, although this has been just fine and it works fine and there's no problem there. I do hear people break them here and there. And then it comes with all the other pieces to do what I need to do. So looks good. All right guys, thanks for watching. Sorry I don't have the tutorial as far as putting that guy on there, but that is not this kit, so I will order one because this one definitely needs a counter. The other two already have them built in, so that's fine. The other two that I showed you, like the 48 pin Sentro, or even more generic than that. You know, I was kind of putting things away, and I was thinking, why am I going to put this video out? It didn't really have much info other than going through this stuff. So what I'm going to do right now is show you a little project that I actually just started yesterday after I did this video. I was like, oh, I want to make like a headband, like a smaller one for like my daughter. Usually when I make one for like an adult, it's like 90 rounds. Right now I probably have about 70 rounds on the machine. So I'm going to talk a little bit about looking at your tension and just making a quick headband, just like a cinch one, not the kind where you kind of fold one into the other like this and then sew it across, because you wouldn't need waste yarn for that, and I didn't start off with a waste yarn. But it'll just be one that's like bunched like this, the two ends, and then you sew them together, and I can use, you know, my little needle from here because I didn't pull out any of my other tools, so we'll have that. This one didn't come with the bent needle, which is the one that's sometimes the one that's a little bit bent that helps you pick up your stitches a little shorter, but it has this one, so that's fine. We'll use that guy. And just a little info I want to pass along to you guys. That way it's not a waste of time. So come with me to my dining room, which is where I have it set up. And I'm on the very last rows. I'll just do a couple more. For a project like this, it doesn't really matter. You want between 70 and 90 rows. Just crank them out. So I'll be right back. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for joining me over here. I was just whipping this up because I wanted to try something out, and I thought, you know what, I should share it with you guys. So that way, again, you have a little info in this video. So this happens to be Pound of Love from Lion Brand Yarns, and it's very splitty. It's a little bit fuzzy, and at first I was trying to make a headband with it that I would use the waste yarn and then cast on the color I want and then end with the waste yarn. I had started off with a Karen Pound of Love waste yarn or yarn just because it was white and I thought it'd be different from this brown color. And when I went to go on this one, it was just dropping stitches like you wouldn't believe, like the worst ever. So I was like, what the heck? So I just ripped it out, like basically just run without any new yarn. Took it off and just restarted, and this time I was like, whatever, I'll just try this Pound of Love by itself because I want to know if it works in this machine or not, because some yarns work better than others. And so I just cast on just like you do, so I'm not showing that. It's just, you know, if you've seen any videos, you're just casting on where you start with the black pin in front of it, behind, in front, behind, in front, behind, right, as you're cranking, and then you just start going. So this, I want to say it's probably 70 or 80 rows. There's some tucked down in here. Once it starts touching your table, just make sure you're kind of collecting it because you don't want to continue touching your table because that can also cause drop stitches. It just acts funny, right? So you can turn it in on itself, give it a little twist or whatever, but keep it off your table. What I wanted to show you right now is the tension. Now, I'm not using the tension guide at all. Oh my gosh, let me see if I can show you that. I have some things here. It's right here. There's nothing in it because when I started with it, it was not doing a good job. So I was like, you know what? I'll just hold it. So I have my yarn on the floor. I'm just holding the yarn in my hand. And as I'm turning, I'm holding the machine also, even though it has its own little grippy. So I just have the yarn here. It's, you know, set up the way it's supposed to. I'm just holding it with my hand. So just like if I was crocheting, but kind of loosely. As I'm turning this, I want you to notice when you go to turn, like right now, there's a stitch kind of hanging here. Let me see if I can get any closer. I know I can. Oh, sorry. This guy. He's still touching the pink guide. And as you go, that guy can stay out here sometimes. That means it's too loose. Like, it's too loose. You're going to start dropping stitches because that stuff is just doing whatever it feels like, and it's just loose. And I was noticing that at the beginning. I was like, oh, it's kind of loose. I can see that. So I would push it down, like, manually. See, right now I can push it down underneath. And I don't want to be doing that. So you have to hold your tension in a way that I'm holding the machine here. As you crank, it's already sliding off. It's already wanting to slide off, right? You see that? When I first started and I was using their tensioner, it was all these little loops were here. And I was like, oh no. So you don't want to hold it so tight that the loops are just like so tight and you're cranking really hard. You don't want that. But you also don't want to see those loops, this little loop that's right here, just hanging out here because that means it's way too loose. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this round because I just wanted to give you a couple tips, and I have not dropped any stitches. It looks wonderful. I'm right here. Number one's coming up. I'm going to cut this off, so I should have brought a scissor. I will be right back. So cut yourself a good couple feet. I know people say like go around your machine 2 or 3 times. You don't need that much. I just cut it with some scissors. Okay, so at this point I'm just making sure that this last one is going to take it down, but I'm going to unhook that and just make sure it's in this last one that we were there. And we're going to give a full rotation basically. So with nothing. So I'm making sure, and hopefully, I mean, maybe you can see what I was talking about. See how this loop is here? Sometimes it'll still be there, and that's not good. Okay, so your tension has to be correct so that that pops down and is good, but I'm just going to pop it down manually. We're going to go a whole round, guys, without any yarn. And I do this very slowly because I'm a scaredy cat. So just making sure everything's down here. And as I approach this, I want to show you, I did color this part black. I think we already talked about that. As I come here, the black one is already popping up, and it already did what I didn't want it to do. Do you see this? It's already coming up. So usually I stop a few stitches before that black one. is even popping up. It's already dropping my stitch, which would be very sad. So I'm going to put this on my needle here, put my yarn in there, and this guy is already popping up and trying to fall off, and we don't want that. So it's as it's coming around that first guy, you're trying to keep this. So I got it, thank goodness. He's right here. I'm going to readjust my camera so that you can see a little bit better, okay? Okay, I know my thread is brown, so it's a little bit hard to see because it's almost like a taupe color. But you can pull all the way through or just catch it on your needle. It's a very long needle. These guys I'm not going to mess with until a little bit later. I'm not even going to turn it anymore, to be honest, because I'm such a fraidy cat. So I'm going to go in here, catch this guy. Try not to split your yarn, but try to get it, okay? And the next one, and you can keep your finger on top of the next one if you're afraid, because some people like to turn it as they go, and as you're turning, the needles are doing stuff, okay? So the needles will definitely start moving in a way that maybe is scary for you. Let me pull this out of here, hold on. I didn't pull all the way through before, and so now it wants to give me some problems. Hold on, there we go. If you're gonna pull all the way through, pull it all the way through, because that way you don't have any problems. But go ahead and keep a finger like on the next one, so that when you pop this one off, the other one's not popping off. But you can also pop off several at a time. So I have those, and maybe I'm gonna get this guy before I really pull through. Get the next one, and the next one. Just that little strand, okay. Oop, I split that stitch, so let's make sure we're getting the yarn in total. And I'll pull through what's here just to have it there. And, you know, I'll continue doing that, and I'll get back to you guys over here. I'm not gonna keep turning my machine. Some people like to keep turning. It's scary, so I don't do that until I'm ready to catch these guys. So I'm gonna keep going, and basically what I showed you guys in my first video, so I'll link that video in the description box because I don't really feel like we have to spend as much time as we did in that video. I went through every single step of everything. So I'm just collecting them as I go. I can back up a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Keep my finger there. Picking up the next one. And I said, you know, in the Addy, like my Addy manual, it says to get one from the front, get one from the back, get one from the front. And it is a little problematic, so I just get them all from the front, like inside the machine, out. So I have a few on here. Maybe I'll pull this through. And I'm just going to continue until I get to these guys, and I'll meet you there. I do want to mention that as you come around, it gets looser because the tension is going away, right, as they're coming off. So just really, you know, keep an eye on what you're doing, because when you're in here, again, it's easy to split your stitch. And I'm talking about the plies in the yarn, not so much that the stitch, there's a problem with it. It's just, you know, so just keep an eye out. Maybe even hold them down like I'm holding my work, because as you're doing this, it definitely introduces a little more danger as you get towards the end. Keep an eye on everything that you're doing. Okay, I'm going to continue till I come around here and we'll finish up. Okay, this is the last one that still does not have a hook, so I'm going to pick that one up. And I'm going to slowly turn this as to not drop off too many of my things. So I'm going to drop that one. That one went down. I'm going to go ahead and catch it, because the less and less loops you have, it just wants to start dropping them possibly. So there's that one. I'm going to turn it very slowly with my hand and get this next one where the hook just went away. I can go in here, catch this guy, and we just have two more. So, oopsie, that's not good. Sorry, my camera got caught on my sweater. Okay, so we have this guy and just one more, guys. So when that goes down, I have this last one to catch. And that should be it. You shouldn't have anything else. There we go. Let me back up a little bit and I'll be right back. I just wanted to reverse the camera a little bit. And there is our piece of work. And this thing is really held down really well. Oop, almost dropped it there. Not great. Okay. I still have this in my hand, and I'm just going to pull this through. And I like to take a couple stitches still. Like, you see the thread is coming from over here, the yarn. And if I start pulling it, you're going to see that it's coming from here, and it's pulling my work tight. And as I'm pulling that work, I like to catch a couple more, but we'll do that in just a minute. So the other thing I like to do is, of course, just see what the work looks like. See if we have anything drop. Nothing. Looks pretty good. The reason sometimes you want to start with waste yarn is because see how it curls? It's just kind of a pain, but it doesn't matter for this project. But we are going to give it a stretch. That's what you do with all of your projects. You want to give them a stretch, and that gives you a few extra inches here. But on both of these sides, we're just going to tighten it up. It's just kind of like if you were making a hat. Obviously, this would be like a preemie hat, honestly, if we were going to turn inside out and do all that. But as I'm pulling this, here's my yarn, and I can see it's getting tight from here. I can still take this and go into, I want to show you where this is coming from. There's a loop here, the loop that this yarn is on. Yeah, right here. See this yarn loop? I can go through that same loop just to give it a little added security. Go through a couple loops that are on that little yarn just to bring it a little tighter, okay? So we're going to pull this guy tight. And like I said, I did a couple stitches, and basically we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to keep going the very ends just to kind of pull it tight. And we're going to leave this yarn because we're going to need this to help us sew. We don't need that much though, so I'm going to go ahead and just trim this down a little bit. Okay, it's not tacked down yet. It's still, if I was to pull it, it would open up. On the other side, we're just going to take this guy and do the same thing. Start pulling. Yeah, so this yarn worked well. It just did not want to do a color change like from scrap yarn. I think it was that yarn is a little thicker than this one, and so the machine was like, what is happening? And did not like it. But again, I'm going to take this. I'm going to cut a little bit of that because we don't need that. Put it on the biggest needle. Again, this is the one that came in that accessories kit that I showed you. And same thing. You can see where this yarn, that was our beginning one, but there is a loop on it right here. So I'm going to go through that loop, look for the next loop, this one, and just like 2 or 3 loops, just to be able to kind of pull it tight, and it went past where it was, you know, just a little more reinforced kind of pull. And as you go, kind of pull it nicely so it's not just out of control. And there you go. I have a feeling this is the kind of yarn that would rip really easily if we pull it a little too tight. Okay, so we go there. And these are our 2 ends. Okay, this is just like a little cinchy one. And all we're going to do is put it together here. So it's a headband that has this little cinch look. It's not like this said, like the one that goes like this, and then you turn inside out and it has like a crisscrossy. So here, I would like to use a metal yarn hook, to be honest, but okay, so I just came out right here, right? I pulled tight, and pull as tight as you can, maybe make a couple more rounds if you want. And all we're going to do is hook these guys together. So wherever this one came from, it's kind of on this side. I'll go ahead and kind of get it into this side a little bit. We're just going to try to sew around and sew around. So essentially that's already hooked together. And let's keep this one out here. And then we're already here, so maybe I go back, or maybe a little bit more into here. And I'm kind of catching the top of the circle. So from here, then maybe I'll go back to this one and catch a little bit of that one. And I'm kind of trying to keep it straight so it looks nice. So you're basically zigzagging between the end on the left, the end on the right. Okay, now I need to catch this one a little bit, and I can go back to this one. And maybe even turn it so I can catch a little bit on this side and a little bit on the left side. I'm just kind of catching that little circle that we made when we tightened it up. Ah! Lost my thread, but I can get that back on in just a minute. Let me just go here to here. And what's nice about this is that it's completely reversible, so if you don't like the way something looks, you can turn it the other way and see if that side looks nicer. But let me get this in here. We got caught somewhere. What is this caught on? Probably caught on this other one. There we go. Okay. And I'm kind of back around the front again after that last set of stitches. And where's my original? Oh, it's up here. Okay. So we're back around here, and then maybe just catch another little bit in there. And then we need to finish this off. I think this is the outside, so I'm going to push, or the side that's going to be facing out. But again, you can make that choice after you're done and see like, oh, this other side looks better, whatever. I'm going to push this through. And we can tie it in a knot with the other one. So for now, I'm just going to cut this off. It's too long anyway. And now we have this other piece that we still need to kind of sew around a little bit. And I'm standing up, guys. Normally I would sit down and do this work. Okay, I pull it tight because, again, this one is also giving us some tension. I'm just going to go through and make sure I cut that nicely. I come out over here. Okay, and then again with this one, you're just doing the same thing, like left to right, right to left, whatever. Catching some on this side, some stitches from that side, and then catching some stitches from this side. So you have it nicely coming together really nicely. Okay, and then maybe I'll bring it around the back. And maybe I already finished it off because we've already done quite a few stitches, but I'll still catch some on this side. And some on this side. Obviously you want it to look neat, but you know, just do your best. And I'm going to take the two ends since they're near each other and give them like a surgeon's knot. And do it one more time. It's kind of where you do the loop on one side and loop on the other and pull it tight so it's like a nice square knot or whatever they call it. And then we can bury the end. So I'm just going to go back into my work, right? Because this is a tube, so you can just kind of go in, come out wherever, but bring one of these guys with you or bring them both with you. Where's the other one? They both can go in this side. Hopefully everything's in frame. Sorry, I wasn't planning on doing this, so I just quickly threw it together. And both those ends are in the inside of our work, because it's a tube. And just cut that, and there you go. And now you have a little headband that's joined in the center, and it's just like a little cinchy headband. And like I said, if the other side looks better to you, then turn it the other way, and if you like that side better, then there you go. Right? So this is more of a kid size, like I would say, let me see. Again, I did like 80 rounds. Probably up to a 5, 6, 7-year-old, I would say. Super cute. I wasn't really stretching it too much. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. Hopefully that gave you an idea of how to make a quick little project. And again, just your basic tube that if you were to flip it inside out, you know, one side into the other, you make a hat. But it's this. And that's what I like for the 40 pin. It is very small. I mean, if you're making a hat, look at this hat. Even if you stretched it out, I mean, it might fit a little kid, but it's pretty small, guys. So for me, headbands, I want to make leg warmers from it. I think that'd be really great. So maybe I'll follow up with a tutorial on that. But as you can see, no drop stitches. It worked really well. So happy to see that. All right, guys, I'll see you at the next one. Bye now.